Hi, it's me Rabo, and welcome to another Bonelab video. Today we have a look at some of the new custom maps on mod.io, including that one mod that puts 2 levels of Boneworks in the game somehow. It's been a while since I've played any custom maps, and a lot of these ones are trying to fit in with the canon story, so it should be interesting, and hopefully we can have a laugh at their attempts to be mysterious, even though I'm not a map maker and probably couldn't do better. The first map is a very familiar one called Boneworks Museum. It's basically the entire second level of Boneworks, complete with all the voice lines and exhibits. But the only problem is the lighting is baked weird or something. Again, I'm not a map maker, please put your pitchforks away. Anyway, I spawn in some kind of transitional space with a bunch of empty cupboards before making my way into the actual museum. I arm myself with a TV antenna before giving all the museum exhibits a look. There's one which spins dummies around, which is kind of funny, but we have to get a move on. In the next room I get sprayed with confetti twice for doing almost nothing, which is pretty cool, and after scaling a Ninja Warrior ramp thing I get even more confetti. I don't know if they think I'm a chimpanzee and they're trying positive reinforcement to make me get from one place to another, but it's working. I go through the funny simulated environment wall and make it into an interactive area, where you just grab stuff and mess around with it. I think they made a safe call assuming I was an ape, look at me go. After doing a speedrun strategy I learned many moons ago, and also finding a secret room, I stumble across a physics puzzle. I pretty much cheat 3/4 of it, and yeah, the music is really getting to me, it's too good. I get my first gun, which may be a mistake, and find myself in a shooting range. I don't really spend much time there, because I already know how to fully operate all the weapons, which is slightly concerning. But anyway, they also have an exhibit inspired by modern day England. Next we have the Advanced Mechanics Hall, but half of the mechanics weren't replicable by the modder, so all that's left is the gravity exhibit where you just go up, I guess. There's a little gift shop too, so I have a quick squiz at the stuff they have. There's basketballs and a can of Campbell's soup which I throw down a rubbish chute. This is pretty much the end of the level, so let's move on to the next one. This map is the next level in the Boneworks campaign, called Streets, and you already know it's going to be good when you can count the frames on your fingers and toes. I'm somehow already so intent on getting this over and done with, that I hop a barbed wire fence to knock a few minutes off the run. Unfortunately, being in this area spawns a few enemies, and so you don't have to worry about counting frames on your toes anymore. I head out to beat them up with a trash can lid, but the level skip left me without any weapons, so I jump another fence to escape. There's a boarded up door with an enemy behind it, but fortunately it's hard of hearing and they left me a few bits and bobs from Home Depot, so I beat it senseless with a claw hammer. I realize I'm going the wrong way, so I head back through the fence, grab a key from an employee promotion raffle, and wake up a null body that I thought was dead. The key unlocks a small control room with another enemy in it, and maybe I shouldn't have gotten that promotion because I immediately start touching stuff and become responsible for a lethal workplace accident. This guy seems unfazed though, or maybe he's just checking out the damage, but either way, no witnesses. I make it to a recycling plant which I quickly speedrun because somehow the frames are getting worse, and then we find our first gun. I fight my way through the slums, do a quick physics puzzle, and then launch myself off a building because surely motion sickness is just a myth made by PC and console companies. I make it to the end of the level, and though I appreciate the effort it took to port this, I had to speed up some of the footage because the frames just got that bad, because loading an entire Boneworks level was too much for the Android phone processor I'm running. Next we have Data Ripper, which is one of those maps which wants to have its part in the Boner cinematic universe. The premise is you fell into a garbage station, which breaks down objects and NPCs into void matter, and there's no escape, so it's less of a story and more of a sandbox, I guess. Amidst all of the random trash and other unwanted objects, I couldn't find my videos, so a 0 out of 10 for realism. Anyway, we go through rooms beating up null bodies with crowbars and also eating watermelons for most of it. But at one point I was trying to sync a jump to the beat drop of the song that was playing and got punished for it. I did get some cool footage though, and even had a decent frame rate. There's also a second area where you can crash through a roof in a go-kart to find a bunch of zombies, which was pretty cool too. I find a Ford dead in some kind of control room, except of course he's not dead, he's just sleeping, so I throw him out the window where we die together. This map is a 9 out of 10, but only because the law prevents me from making it a 10 out of 10. The next campaign is called Escape the Void, and I don't really know how to introduce it, so let's just get stuck in then. The first level is extremely confusing, but I learned it's basically just a title screen, so what even was the point of having it? I load up the next level instead, and I'm actually surprised at how nice the area looks. The trash texture and empty waste barrels are really brought out by the sewage green light, so props to the modder for knowing a thing or two about design and decoration. There's some corrupted null bodies standing around, and so I clean them up with my bare hands, only later realizing there was a gun on the table the whole time. I grab it and gun down unarmed security officers before sneaking through a vent. On the other side there's an assault rifle, and I don't think I use it once even though it's got some nice specs and attachments. I instead use my pistol and attempt to avoid gunfire by hiding in a locker, which seems to work. There's a bunch of weird stuff in the lockers like katanas and shit, but I opt to take an AK instead, which I use in the following shooty section with some decent style. At the end there's a big weapon crate, but when I open it there's just a single brick inside, which is pretty mysterious I guess. It's so mysterious that I spend way too long trying to put it in a keycard reader before realizing there's another room nearby that if I had to guess would have the keycard. It does, and behind the blast door that's thicker than my skull, there's a wall of text about future updates and levels. Overall, this is one of my favourite campaign mod levels, so I guess they get a gold sticker or something. The final level I decided to play's title has been redacted, so unfortunately you probably won't be able to find this one on any surface level mod page. I found this level on the dark web as it had been leaked by an anonymous user from the experimental wing of Stress Level 0. When I load in, it runs at a silky smooth 4 frames per second, but there's nothing really of narrative value, so let's skip to when I've lowered the body count a bit. After fighting my way through hordes of enemies with a variety of weapons, I find multiple enemies all fighting each other, including a massive headcrab looking fella. There's a void tunnel that I have to switch characters to climb up, but I use my newfound size and health to tank rounds and clean up enemies. There's a bunch of parkour and pretty much a shooting gallery with hazmats and security guards, and then I find some gravity cups with a Ford ominously standing over them. I hit him numerous times in the head and also shoot him with a shotgun to finish him off. I finish off the remaining enemies and then use the gravity cups to scale a beam, where I make it to the peaceful looking area with a button. When I press the button nothing happens, but I guess it's meant to be a spiritual message because not every story needs an ending. That or the developer just used it to mark the end of the level. Anyway, that's all for now, and also I should be back to uploading kind of normally. I recorded this video so long ago it felt like editing a time capsule, and surprisingly not too much has happened in the VR space since. There was an update to the Boneworks mod, which adds a level and fixes the lighting, so you can check that out if you want to tank the frames on your Quest 2, providing you own one. But thanks for sticking around. I've been Rabo, and I live near construction site.